Yeah, welcome to the CloudStack European User Group here in Frankfurt, in the NEO house. So a little bit about myself. I'm the founder and CEO of company proIO, which is a managed hosting provider based in Frankfurt. From the beginning, we are huge open source fans, and we support open source where we can. We use open source where we can. We are CloudStack community members since 2013, which is from the beginning, close to the beginning. We are also committer, but more a non-technical one. So we do not have developers, or we are not able to provide code, but we are able to provide documentation, testing, and stuff like that. And I'm a huge Mario Kart enthusiast. So I would love to play Mario Kart on the screen, but not today, I guess. I want to thank the sponsors of this event, because without sponsors, this kinds of events are not possible. It's ShapeBlue, Linbit, and proIO. Thank you very much. So a little bit information about the company proIO, founded in 2004, based in Frankfurt. I was born and raised here in Frankfurt, so I'm the local guy. And we are using virtualization since 2008. We started using Citrix Xen server. I tried to recreate the decision process. I failed. So we came via the Citrix rails. They acquired clouds.com, which then transformed into Cloud Platform, and then it was provided to the Apache Foundation, and then there was a time there was Cloud Platform and CloudStack. Then, and Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, then they sold it to an Indian company called Accelerate. We did the same. We moved with them. We had enterprise support at this time. And a couple of years ago, we made a decision to, and funny fact, we still have 3 nodes running on the Cloud Platform version from several years ago, because we have 2 customers who were unable to migrate. We informed about any security issues we have, and we're just providing the hardware. And we built a whole new infrastructure with Apache CloudStack. We have a small second office in Hamburg. We're using CloudStack since 2013, which is close to the beginning of the CloudStack journey. Our main product groups are managed hosting, infrastructure as a service, and we understand it as a public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud situation, which all is the same infrastructure and the same installation of CloudStack. And we also provide remote hands, which is, we have technicians here in Frankfurt and Hamburg, and we're taking care of approximately 2,200 virtual servers in different data centers for different customers. Customers which are mostly not located in Frankfurt or this area, but located outside of this area, but do need technicians on site 24/7. And now it comes to fancy stuff. You will see. So before I talk about how we are using CloudStack, I want to talk about why we are using CloudStack, but because I think it will show more of our DNA. So this was the fancy stuff. We're using CloudStack because it's open source. The community is really, really good, and they're doing really good progress. Giles was showing you just one release, what's new and new features, security patches, and stuff like that. So this is really important for us. It's sometimes you have the problem that an open source project looks like it's dead, and you're using it. We had some problems with open source projects in the past where there was known security issues, but nobody was taking care of it. But it was used by huge companies, and the result was security breaches on all sides. We were patching like nothing regarding these problems. We do believe that open source is the only way to achieve security, a secure software and transparent data security. The problem is here that, of course, there are security problems in open source software. Nobody wants to deny it. But there's even the chance to see it. In closed software, you do not have a chance to see the code, to find any problem. And you are really in the hands of your software provider or the company who's providing you this kind of software. And you have no idea how they patch it or even if they already aware of security issue which was not really announced, and you are not able to prepare on the firewall side or stuff like that. So our approach is to use open source whenever it's possible. There are situations where you do not have any option in the open source world. Okay. An argument which is often used by German cloud providers is that, yeah, we are GDPR compliant, we are based in Germany or in Europe. This is not an argument at all, because when you are based in Germany or in Europe and using, for example, some Azure Stack or some other vendor software which comes outside from the EU, that's a black box. You really do not know which information will be sent to whom. Of course, you can sniffing the traffic, but you're not doing this 24/7. On the other hand, you have open source. You can see the code. You know what you're sending out and to whom you're sending data, if there even is sending data to somebody, which is not really the case. And this is, in our opinion, the only way to say, yes, we are sure we are GDPR compliant. Our data center is based in the European Union, and we are using open source software, and everybody can take a look at the code. And you also do not have any kind of vendor lock, because in our experience, vendor lock is slowing down the rate of innovation, because we are not a top customer of any customer. We are too small to be a top customer. We are transparent about it. We know that fact. For example, let's try example with VMware. When we need a feature and we talk to VMware, it's like I can talk to the wall. It's the same effect. It's like the same. But when you have open source, you can open, for example, at CloudStack, at the GitHub, you can open an issue. You can ask the community, the user groups. You can try to employ a developer and tell, here, please implement this feature, and you can commit it to the project. And this is what we mean with vendor lock is limiting flexibility, because you are stuck to the stack you are getting from your vendor if it's not open source. And the good thing about it, open source, for most open source projects, if you want and need enterprise support, you get it. There are companies, for example, like Linbit. You can use LinStore. It's open source. You can just add the public repository to the server. You can install it. You can use it. If you say, okay, that's nice, but I want 24/7 support, because if 3 a.m. in the morning something happens, I need somebody to call to fix it. You get this kind of support. The same with Ubuntu. The same with CloudStack, for example. There are companies, I name ShapeBlue, there are companies which are able to provide enterprise level support for open source projects. Same with MariaDB and other examples, you name it. Now we are talking about the active community, and I know we're coming to the how. I know how we use CloudStack, but I want you to understand why we made this decision. We have you've seen the numbers, over 3,000 mails in the user mailing list only in 2024. So you see it's an active list. I do not read any numbers. I have the same 10 releases, so I counted without the 4.20 release. But we have, in this year, 20 releases. And some of them are security releases. And this is a really, really important fact. You not be alone with security issues. There's a whole community tracking issues, opening CVs and fixing it. You also have great events like this, gathering the community, and I really encourage you to register for the CCC in Madrid. Last year it was in Paris. It was a beautiful event with a real big audience from all over the world. It was a great experience and talks over there. So please keep that in mind if you want to know more about CloudStack. Just Giles already told you more about this, but I want to be part of my presentation. You have development in this project, 300 fixes and more and stuff like that. We have a new UI. We don't call it new because it's. Do you know the version when it was implemented? The UI. Yes. Yeah, for 17. So the old UI was more like the 2000s. Yes. Yeah. No. Okay. That's the other way to say it. Well, it was good at this time, and there was a whole project driven by the community to implement a state-of-the-art UI. You can brand this UI, so you can add your logo and stuff like that, but you can just use it. You can also use all the API calls to build your own UI if you want. A good way or an important thing was the integration of the VMware migration tool, which already improved. So keep that in mind. Object storage, of course, is very important. There was sometimes a situation where we needed to say no to a customer because we did not have any solution for building S3 buckets or stuff like that out of the box. So, and you have third-party plugins like StorePool, also a storage vendor with a great working plugin and great storage software. You have Linbit with LinStore. So you have options there. There's not just one particular solution for a specific thing. You have open frameworks, as Giles mentioned before, and you can choose. And if you want, you can use frameworks to create your own plugins and use them. And you can give it back to the community if you want. So now we're coming to the how we're using CloudStack. We're using it for managed hosting, which will be like the subject of this of the talk, the main focus on. But we also use it for private clouds, and we also have a small public cloud, which we have some self-service customers which are using this interface. The good thing behind it is this is all CloudStack one interface. It's not separate installations, not divided. It's all in one. Of course, we have customers which want to have isolated private clouds, but I'll come to that later. So, what do we understand? What is managed hosting for us? Because managed is a highly used word in the IT world, and everybody's under. It's like cloud. You say, yeah, you have cloud. Okay, what do you mean by cloud? There are people managed hosting. You have managed server all over the place from all competitors. So you have like Hetzner, One-on-One, which are selling managed servers for a couple of euros per month. But what their understanding is, yeah, you have a fancy web interface, not even fancy, you have a web interface, you can set up some configuration parameters, push apply, that's it. They have automated updates. If they crash, okay, it's just automated. It's just quantity and not quality. But they are good for their purpose. So if somebody is happy with this kind of service, perfectly price match. We understand more than that. So we take care of the application. We have customers who are developing their own application. It's PHP stack, Python stack, whatever. And we are Linux based because I was thinking you already imagined that because we are open source related. So it's a little bit complicated to be in the Microsoft world open source. It's better, but it's not really easy to be that. So we are really Linux focused on this. So we take care of load balancing, web servers, databases like MySQL, Redis, MongoDB, Elasticsearch, name it. And our goal is to provide the whole package to the customer so he can concentrate on his core business. Because I think when IT is not part of your core business, don't do it. Buy it. For example, if you are a transportation company, don't build trucks. Buy them from companies who are specialized of building trucks. And this is the same approach we have in the IT. Because the resources you're getting from outsourcing or from having a partner whose core business is IT, you have plenty of resources free. You can just put in your developing your application, new features, and provide a better application to your customer. Instead, nowadays, some companies or most of the companies are trying to have the status quo and investing a lot of energy and resources just to have the status quo working. Who is using managed hosting? Companies, there are, of course, companies with more than 300 employees. It's not our area where we are finding our customers. So 10 to 300 people. It really depends. Companies with self-developed application, as I told you before, we have a lot of customers where they have a developing team in the company. For example, we have a business hotel finder, and this company will be requested by Check24, Trivago, TripAdvisor, and we handling all the incoming API incoming traffic, and we sort it out like API here, or is it a web request there, and stuff like that. We have a database clusters for different purposes implemented. And as I told you before, companies who want to focus on core businesses, on the core business, these are the customers. We have a lot of e-commerce shops there, media agencies, because we totally underestimated it. But for example, we have, I'm not sure if I am allowed to say the name. Let's try to explain it. We have a company in the brick business for children, the biggest one, where you can build something out of. And of course, the big IT department is in, let's say, Denmark, and but they are not fast and not they're too expensive even for internal projects. So we have a lot of small landing pages hosted and on our cloud, and we are taking care of that. The content will be delivered 24/7. We are not a content creator; these are agencies, and this is a good multiplier for us. So we have also, of course, startups and scale-ups. Problem with startup and scale-ups is that hyperscalers are providing free credits to lure them into their system, and when they are stuck in the system, it's really hard to get out of it. So we have a few startups coming 3 months to 12 months after they started, and ask us again. So can we migrate to your cloud and to do your managed services, because our credits are now over and now we need to pay, and it's really expensive. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it's really difficult. This is our CloudStack Cosmos. So we're using, for example, Packer for creating templates. We are using Terraform. There's an asterisk because it's not open source anymore. I'm not sure if somebody saw the news. HashiCorp is had changed the license. There are already forks. I think OpenTF is the most, that needed to rename it, right? It started at OpenTF and then they changed it to Tofu, exactly, OpenTofu. We did not have the time yet to evaluate it. But you see with, for example, Redis did the same thing, they're rolling back. Redis rolled back to, okay, maybe it was not the best decision to change the license model, let's go back, and open source is the way to go. We have KVM and we have XCP-ng as hypervisors in our cloud. So we have a multi-hypervisor cloud. We're using LinStore as our storage software, as SDS. We have hyperconverged storage. On the KVM side, there's also a plugin for XCP-ng. We are not using it right now. XCP-ng is used with local storage at the moment, with all the downsides of it. We're using Ansible and CloudMonkey to roll out managed automated tasks and change configurations and stuff like that. Let's talk a little bit about how we use private clouds. We have the standalone clouds and the dedicated clouds. So what we are understanding here is a standalone cloud is really you have your own management server, your own secondary storage packed as a ready-to-use application for our customers. But most of our customers really just need dedicated private clouds, which means that they use the same management server as our public cloud, but they have dedicated hosts. Only they are only allowed to use. So you make sure that on this specific hypervisor, only this customer is running. And this is really easy to do in CloudStack. We are doing it via domains. There are different ways to do it, but each customer has his own domain and then using subdomains, and we can use tags. It's a great way how this works. Our public cloud is, pay as you go, grow, whatever. Okay, that's marketing, blah, blah. Okay. The good thing is, the only thing what I want to say is, because it's one CloudStack installation, they can also automatically use our public cloud to have a hybrid cloud. So if they have some testing which no really important data is on, okay, come spin up, spin down, just not buy some hardware you do not need really. This is the thing I wanted to tell you. So are there some questions here? Okay, then there's one thing which I want to remind you. Drinks after the event. Yeah. Thank you very much.